Becoming an emotionally intelligent parent challenge week 3. How are you doing today? How has it been? Have you been following us? Let me are a reasonable human being. If you are not a reasonable human being, if you are not intelligent emotionally, now you will just be impulsive, responding based on impulse. Your reasoning will be missing, will be lost. So we don't want that. Okay, so today is day 3, and like I shared in my post today, I said we want to look at one major factor that makes it not difficult, makes it not easy for many parents to be emotionally intelligent. One major factor that sabotages our best interest at becoming emotionally intelligent, and that is our perception, our mindset, our yes. So what we want to do today is we want to reframe our perception. We want to reframe our mindset. A couple of weeks ago, I think about 3-4 weeks ago, I was teaching the teenagers in church when one of them drew my attention to a father coming upstairs to slap a teenager, and we're like, are you kidding me? I was shocked. So when I tried to intervene, and the man said that, imagine that the boy said the son reported to him that particular boy, a much older boy, was pressing his neck. And so when he was asking the boy went to say that I did not even press it very well. So that was what got him upset, that the boy said he did not press it very well, which means the boy was trying to say that giving more opportunity, he would have pressed it more. And the truth of the matter, that was not what the boy meant. Because of the mass where the man was, because he heard that, he thought the boy meant, I would have even gone ahead to do worse than that. That was not what the boy meant. The boy simply meant, yes, please.
We need it for the alarm for the...
No.
We need it for 30 minutes.
I will tell you tell me when she puts it, and you tell me, I will tell you. Sorry about that. What the boy meant was, like, the boy was speaking English. I was telling the man that, see, I'm not very, we are still pretty new here. And sometimes the way they speak their English, the way they communicate, I have to take my time to listen to understand exactly what they are saying. The boy did not mean that he would have pressed the boy's neck more than that. He was only trying to say that, like, it was not something serious. I just held it lightly. Like, I know hold am well, using pidgin English, and maybe that's how I can communicate it better. I know hold am well. Now small I hold am. That was what the boy was trying to say in proper English. Unfortunately, he said it wrongly, and the man went all out, and he was beating the boy right in church. He forgot that he was a minister in church, and he was beating a teenager right in church because of perception, what he had in his, what he thought was the issue, which was not actually the thing. It is what we do several times in parenting. We just assume, and because we assume, we assume, and then we react based on that. We always have the mindset that we are being attacked. Children are attacking us. People are attacking us. We are being attacked. That mindset that we are being attacked is why one of the reasons we respond the way we respond. We always have the mindset that children are misbehaving. We label them, they are misbehaving. And once you have labeled your child misbehaving, once everything your child does is misbehavior, it becomes annoying. You don't want to see misbehavior. You don't want to hear that your child is misbehaving. So that is why, one of the reasons why we respond the way we respond. So what we are going to look at today is, we are going to look at our mindset, our thoughts patterns towards our children, and begin to reframe them. Because by the time you see that, okay, your child is not necessarily misbehaving, is not a misbehavior per se, by the time you see it that way, by the time you pause and you understand what is going on, that way you are better able to deal with your child from a place of reason. I remember I think the other year or so, I had a parent, and we're talking about homework drama. I think she was one I actually made a video on homework drama. We're talking about homework drama, and she always had this drama with her children during homework. She will feel like, oh, they don't want to learn, they are lazy, things like that. So after our class on emotional intelligence, she decided that, okay, when our kids didn't want to do their homework. She decided to find out, and guess what? These children were tired, they were exhausted. In less than 5 minutes of bathing them and feeding them, they went to bed straight. Imagine if she didn't have this knowledge, she was forcing them through the homework. What do you think would have happened? Oh yes, the children will be grumpy, they will be crying because they were tired, they were sleepy. They will not even what they ordinarily know every day. They will not be able to read 1 to 3, even when they could already read count 1 to 100. They will not be able to count 1 to 10, and it will push her, it will pressure her. She will yell, she will smack, she will nag, and the children on the other hand will be crying. Everywhere will be chaotic. So as soon as she said, okay, after her emotions, when she learned about how to reframe her thoughts, how to pause and give space, then she decided that, okay, she wanted to understand what was going on. And behold, she realized that she came back the following day saying, the children were actually feeling sleepy because within the space of 5 minutes, they had slept off. It is what happens very many times. Like I said, we just assume that our children are misbehaving. We assume that they are not cooperating. We assume that they are stubborn. We assume a lot of things. I remember a couple of months ago, I had an argument on Facebook. I've shared it here a couple of times too. I had an argument on Facebook. People were talking about contentment. You know, when you cook, when a child doesn't want to eat the food you've prepared at home, the child lacks contentment. You have to force your child to eat your food because that's how greed or something begins. So I was asking the parents, you as an adult, when you do not want to eat a particular food, does it mean you lack contentment? Yes, please. Okay, you are finished doing the dough.
Yes.
Okay, you want to program it for 30 minutes. Program it here. I'm using it. So does it mean you lack contentment as a parent? So you need to pause and think. If it is not lack of contentment that really makes you refuse to eat or not want to eat the particular food you cook, so why do you now conclude your child is lack of contentment? Assumption. It is why we respond to the children the way we respond to them. We just assume, oh, this child is misbehaving. We assume this child is out. Some parents say, oh, this child is out to frustrate me. Excuse me. This child is out to frustrate me. This child is just stubborn. This child is wicked. I've heard parents say, you don't understand my child. She's so wicked. When you have that mindset, you are going to deal with your children. You are going to have that mind. When you have that mindset, you are going to react to them from that angle that the child is wicked. When you have labeled your child, you are going to respond to your child from that angle. You are going, oh, your child is lazy. When you have labeled your child lazy, you are going to respond to your child from that angle. When you have labeled your child unmotivated, you are going to respond to your child from that angle. However you label your child, it is going to determine how you respond to your child. So you may not even want to be reasonable. You don't want to pause and think. Because you have labeled your child, you are responding to your child based on that angle, from that angle. And the truth of the matter is, let's look at it. Good afternoon, coach. Thank you for joining. The truth of the matter is, if you take your time to look at it, your labeling may be super wrong. I remember one time a parent reached out, the child was regressing. You know what regression means in parenting? Where a child has passed a particular phase, then the child suddenly starts behaving. Example, maybe a child has potty trained, a child you have potty trained before, a toddler, and a child suddenly starts defecating on her body, on his body, you know. A child that usually can feed himself or feed herself, the child starts beginning to cry for you to feed them. A child that could do something, they just wake up one morning, they will not want to do that particular thing again. That they already, good afternoon, sir, welcome, thank you for joining us, sir. A child who already knows how to do certain things, the child just wakes up and doesn't want to do that thing again, wants you to now do them for them. And the parents always feel that this child is out to frustrate me, this child is annoying, this child is stubborn. Parents always get frustrated. But the truth of the matter is, it is not, the child does not, you think your child just sits down. I'm talking to a parent with toddler now. Your child just sit down and say, today, I'm going to frustrate my mommy. Your child doesn't have that capacity to think that they are going to frustrate you. So what happens is, there are phases, there are developmental phases. And in the Visionary Parent Academy, I have promised that we are going to share a document on developmental phases. The truth of the matter is, my laptop has been bad for a while, and my laptop is back now. Oh, I'm still watching it. And not just that, I have not worked on the material. Maybe I will just share it like that. I'll just share it like that. I've not worked on it. I was doing a research one time for a speaking engagement, and I had to put a lot of material together. So I wanted to like articulate them properly before sharing. I've promised for too long. I need to share already. So after today, after the class, coach, please remind me to share today after the class. We'll just share it so that I'll put it in our resource bank. And by the way, this class is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy. My name is Enimien Oruebor, and I'm the lead coach at the Visionary Parent Academy. The Visionary Parent Academy is an academy where parents with a vision, parents who have a vision for their parenting, come together, they come to get empowered, to get skills and knowledge to walk the path that leads to their vision. I always say that as a parent, you have a vision, whether you have a vision clearly written down, whether you have a vision board like I do behind me or you don't, you have a vision. It is your vision that makes you actually respond to your child the way you respond to your child. It is because you have a vision. You don't want a child who will end up in jail. You don't want a child who will not be successful in life. You have that vision. You want your children to be successful. That is your vision. That is even why your children misbehave. You are all over the place being dramatic about it. You want to correct it immediately because you have a vision. So the thing now is not about having a vision, is are you walking the path that actually leads to the vision? That is the thing. Are you walking the path that leads to the vision? That is what you want. That is what will help you achieve the Visionary Parent Academy. You begin by crafting your vision. As a parent, you must have an intentional, a deliberate vision. You just don't have one. You are not picking anything. You know exactly what you are doing. And when you have your vision, they will now work together in the academy. We are creating a lifestyle, patterns. You are learning skills. You are getting empowered every day, getting knowledge, getting skilled up on how to work towards your vision at the end of the day. And we have very beautiful and vibrant community, and we have amazing things we do and amazing resources. We have a resource bank. In fact, for our registration fee, our resource bank alone is way more than our registration fee. I'm not just don't take my word. Just come and take a peep, and we do something once in a while, maybe once in 2 months or thereabout. We have an open course. You can join us. When you join us for that course, you see what we do in the academy. After the course, you choose to join us, carry on with us, or you choose to continue without us. It's fine. So yes, it is what we do in the Visionary Parent Academy, and we are still open for registration for this year. Yes, we'll close this year in March. By March ending, we are done for the year. We are no longer taking members. But for now, till the end of March, you can still join us to become part of our parenting, the Visionary Parent Academy. Okay, so I was talking about some behavior. So we just label our children. We label our children. I remember one time I went to the market. I was getting something. It was raining. A child was sitting. It just finished raining. A child was sitting sitting near the pavement there. They used to demarcate, from between the road and the shops. And the mom was beating the child. She was about three or two, three. The mom was beating the child. At the point I said, madam, why are you beating this baby like this? She was asking me, can't you see what she's doing? She's just messing up herself. That's what she's always doing, always frustrating me. She likes to give me work. She will not tell me, mommy, I want to drink bobo. When after all of that, she'll mess up herself. She would say, madam. So you are smacking, you are yelling, all dramatic, because this child is just leaving her face. Jeez. If you don't want this child to rub herself on the ground, don't bring her to the shop. Don't have a shop near the road where she can get dirty. Because this child doesn't even know why the child doesn't even know why you are beating her. If the child knows why you are beating her, do you think your child likes being beaten? Your child does not like being beaten. Your child does not like being yelled at. So and she said, just watch how after this now, in the next 1 minute, she'll go and do worse. It is because your child doesn't know your child does not have the mental capacity to understand that what she's doing is wrong. Because that age the child is in a carefree age. They are just in their own age. It's their own world. Some people call it the joy age, where everything about them is happiness. They are exploring. That age is the age they are highly super impulsive. They are not thinking. Is the age you see a child, they are seeing a well, they are going to enter the well. You are wondering, this is life-threatening. The child doesn't know. Not because the child wants to frustrate you. No, your child has no intentions of frustrating you. It is just because the child has no idea what they are doing. Unfortunately, many parents will now label the child. When I just got here once, I was in a place and two children came back from school. The woman's place, I was in a shop, her child and another child. So the other child was just talking, and the woman was now saying that that child was trying to describe something about the child. And that particular child, and when it comes to school, what the child is olodo, doesn't know anything. That the mom of the child was super angry at the child previously because why her own daughter they had a test the following day. These children should less than 5, 6 or thereabout. They had a test the previous day, and her daughter came home to tell her mommy, we have this test. We're asked to do something like this and present for our test. The girl couldn't say anything. So she was not like, if he's to do something like this, the girl is super smart. That they change the girl in the womb, that they put an old woman's brain in the girl's brain, because there are things the girl is super smart. When it comes to this, the girl is deliberately being wicked. If you see the analysis, headache hold me. For a child who obviously doesn't know what she's doing, for a child who has her own path, her own interest, her own passion, who is wired in a certain way for her own purpose, her own calling. A child who may not be cut out for school at the end of the day. A child who may be another person, who may be Thomas Edison, who may be Cosmo Maduka. For a child whose school is not in her DNA, who has other mighty things to do, or for a child who may even flourish later, who is probably a late boomer, you are saying that child is a witch. The brain was changed. The brain of an old woman was put in the child's head. Are you kidding me? And you see what? That perception will influence a child for being a child. Thank you, ma. That perception, those parents, those adults around the child, they already have that perception. And that perception will influence every single way they react to the child. And guess what? As a parent, you don't even know better. People around you don't know better. So they will have that perception and they will respond to the child based on that perception. And for people with the fixed mind, I tell you, it will take miracle. People with fixed mind, people with character defects, it will take God himself to change their mind. Not even therapy will work for them. Labeling, your perception about your child will go a long way to determine how you respond to your child. Not even a long way, will go all the way. Because it is. When you see, for a woman, for example, you think your husband is cheating, right? When your husband is talking to someone, you already have that perception, oh, this man is cheating. When your husband is talking to someone, in your mind, he's talking to a side chick. When your husband comes back from work late, in your mind, he went to see a side chick. Anything your husband does is a side chick. It will take some kind of maybe deliberate reprogramming for you to realize that your husband's life does not revolve around side chick. That is what happens in parenting. So one of the things you want to do, if you want to respond to your child with emotional intelligence, if you want to actually be able to respond to your child from a place of reason, you need to reframe your mindset. You need to sit back as a parent. Yes, labeling comes from our mindset. Absolutely, ma. You need to sit down as a parent and look at your mindset when it comes to your child. Now, when it comes to parenting, one thing about it intentionally is that it affects you. You change every aspect of you. It's not only your child. You realize that you will just grow. If you commit to parenting intentionally, you will realize that you will grow in every aspect of your life. So the first task you want to have now, that it should be the only task you're having here, is I want you to sit down and evaluate how you respond to your child generally. Your mindset you have towards your child's behavior generally. Because the mindset you have will determine how you respond to your child. Now, not just to your child, to the people around you, to your spouse, to your domestic staff, to your any people around you. What mindset do you have? That mindset will influence how you respond to them. If you see them, oh, this person is a liability, you will see them as they are coming to bother you. That is it. If you see them as, oh, this person is an asset, you will see them as they are coming to add value to you. If you see your child as, oh, your child is stubborn, you want to break their wings. You said you are stubborn. Oh yeah, let's see who is more stubborn. I will tell you I'm your mom. So anything your child does is stubborn. If you see your child as overbearing, this is my child, the wahala is too much. Even when they have a genuine need, they have a genuine reason for what they do, you will see them, and because you already see them as their wahala is too much, you will see them from the angle that they are disturbing you. And not just about your child, not just because it's your child, because you have been programmed to think that way. Now, this is why you cannot be emotionally intelligent without dealing with your programming, with your traumas, with your stereotypic assumptions. You cannot become emotionally intelligent without dealing with them. Sometimes people are just doing their things. Your child is just doing his thing. Like you have a toddler, they are just enjoying their lives. They are just acting acting from the limited skills they have. I shared this with the Visionary Parents Academy. I think was it this morning. I also shared it to my teens in church on Sunday. I was looking at the Unizik girl, kind of using her story to share lessons from her story. I said one of the lessons I shared with my teens from the story is the lesson of intense evaluation. If as human beings we can pause and evaluate the intentions of people, we will realize that people are not always out to attack us. Because many times you just see, oh, someone is like the girl. Let's go back to the story of the girl. If you look at it, because there's a different narrative, another narrative outside that if the man would have been able to tell her, excuse me, without tapping her and all of that. So what I did, I wanted to actually understand that angle and then find a balance. So I watched the video over and over again, and realized when I was watching the video, I realized something. That firstly, the girl was walking back and forth. You know how you are making a video, or you are kind of not really making a video. You are saying something. You are sharing something. Many people they don't stand still. They just do slight movement. That was what the girl was doing. She would back front. So the man already had seen her, and probably the man was like, okay, I don't want this girl to, when I get close to her, she may be moving back, she will step on me. I didn't want her to step on me. And because the girl was engrossed in her video making, her friends, when the man was coming, you won't tell me some of her friends did not greet the man. Because some people were there when she was making the video. So one or two persons would have seen the man, greeted the man. So for someone to have greeted the man and the girl still did not hear that someone was passing, it simply means that she needed more than just excuse me to have heard the man was passing. She needed that tap on the back. And that was why the man tapped her. The man tapped her, something like, hey, I'm passing, don't step on me, That was her. The man tapped her. And because the man caught her flow, she immediately felt upset. And maybe because she felt, oh, this man is a lecturer. Lecturer, they are always intimidating us. Lecturer, they always want to, that programming, that lecturers. When I was talking to my teenagers in school, I say, I don't blame the girl for having that programming, because I too was a student once. And I know that some lecturers can be very mean. We see them, and coming from and going by the stories we've heard of lecturers from the East, where they have to ask students to literally build a house for them. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, allegedly, that lecturers, they will ask students, go and buy cement for me, buy blocks for me, go and pay laborers for me. It simply means that those lecturers are not very friendly or not very nice to these students. That's what it means. So maybe it's that programming that she had. And so when the lecturer told her, it was a small tap. Tiny, we all saw it. And the next thing she said was, he hits me. he hits me. Can you imagine? The very first video that came out was, she said, who does he think he is? So the other videos, I think they cut that, who does he think he is? Because the very first video, he hits me. Can you imagine? Who does he think he is? She was attacking. Now, if she had paused to look at the intentions of the man, she probably would have been able to evaluate her own self, what she was doing. Oh, I was going back and forth, and this was what happened, and all of. She would have been able to realize, I'm on a public walkway, and there would not have been any need. Thank you so much for joining, ma. There would not have been any need for her reaction, for her outburst, and all of that. But because she did not pause to evaluate their intentions and the man's intention, that was how she just reacted the way she reacted. It is what we do in parenting also. Because we are coming from a place that of programming, a place that we have been programmed. And I say to parents, one of the things you want to do is you want to pause. It's not 30 minutes yet. It's just 11 minutes. You are coming from a, sorry, excuse me. Sorry about that. You are coming from a place where you have been programmed. I said to parents, why don't you pause and look at some of these things? I've seen parents, they'll say, oh, their daughter went out with a boy because of that, or their daughter went out because of that, all hell will be let loose. You know, it is because we have been programmed. As a parent growing up, did you not have male friends? Was it always? I know that we had some of the things that program our minds, our personal experiences, our parents, family factors, our friends. Yes, we actually had friends back then who went out with boys, and it was the other, it was as suspected by their parents or by the adults back then. We know that. So these are all the things that formed our programming. But the truth of the matter is that your child is out with a boy, or your child has a male friend, doesn't mean your child is doing the, should I say, unthinkable, the unhealthy, or what you don't want to do. For very many parents, they assume, they conclude, and you are responding based on that assumption. You are responding based on that conclusion. For very many parents, children are not even allowed to defend themselves. Yes, you have said it. You assume, you've said it, it is true, and that is final. You are responding based on that. One of the things you want to do as a parent, you need to sit down and begin to question your own assumptions, question your thoughts, question your perception when it comes to your child. What are the things you are overly reactive to? That is your task I gave you. What are the things you are overly reactive to? What are the things that really push you? What are the things that bring out all the drama in you? Look at them very well and ask yourself, okay, why do you respond to them the way you do? Why do they make you super dramatic? Ask yourself the real reason why you respond to them. When you ask yourself the real reason you respond to them, now ask yourself, now, most times, the real reason you respond to them that way is not actually what you put forward. It's not actually what you put forward. So ask yourself, the reason you respond to them that way and the reason you put forward, are they the same? I'm trying to look for an example here. Are they the same? For very many parents, they will say, oh, my child will embarrass me. That is the reason. That is the real reason in their mind. They don't want their children to embarrass them at all. But the reason they put forward will be super different. So ask yourself, is that really the real reason, the actual reason you are all dramatic and all of that? You need to sit back and examine your assumptions, examine all your reactions, and ask yourself, is it true? Apart from checking out the real reasons, now really sit back and ask yourself, all these your fears, are they valid? Are they really, really, really valid? All these your drama, your reactions, are they valid? When you sit back, you take your mind, you look at it, you realize that very many of your drama, they are not valid. They don't hold water. They are overreaction from your place of programming. Like a parent who will say, my child when my child insults someone outside, is an emergency. I am going to deal with my child there, here and there and then. When you pause and ask yourself why you want to deal with your child there and then, it's simply because you want to save your face. You feel embarrassed, not necessarily because of any other thing. You don't want your child to grow up to become rude, because if you don't want to grow up you want your child to grow up to become rude and impolite, you can always pause and talk about it. You can always go and teach your child. But because you want to show to people that, I'm a no-nonsense parent, so this child is not the one in control of me, I'm the one in control of the child, then you will be all dramatic. It is why I said you need to always sit down and look at the reason. The reason you are projecting and the actual reason, are they the same? Most times they are not the same. Most times parents will react based on pride, based on what will people say, based on our fear. We hold our children back, we limit them based on ignorance. Okay, back to our topic, reframing your mind, reframing your thoughts. If you think about your child negatively, you are going to respond to your child negatively. You see your child as misbehaving. Let me even talk about, there's something called flight and fight in our responses. We are either fighting or we are flighting, running away, or sometimes we are even freezing. Let me give you a bit of the history. When I was researching about emotional intelligence a long time ago, and I got this very interesting story that made so much sense to me, and I've always shared it in my emotions mastering classes. The history of attack. Why we are always quick to attack. Our forefathers in those days, we started having houses and a lot of things as man began to evolve, began to grow, started having houses and a lot of things. But before then, in those days, our forefathers, they just lived in the bush, nothing. So remember Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden? So they were just neighbors to wild animals, lions, bears, those really wild animals, tigers, they were neighbors to wild animals. And so wild animals would prey on them. So because of that, our forefathers, they just had this instinct to defend themselves. And the only way they could defend themselves was to attack those animals. So each time they hear a noise coming, the next thing they would just look for a way to defend themselves by attacking the wild animals. In so doing, some of their own relatives, their children, their wives, their siblings were hurt in the process. Because when lions, bears, they had no houses or anything. They just lived. No houses or things like that. So they just lived in the forest like that, open forest, and with the animals. So the animals would just walk in on them and do their thing. So because of that, they were always attacking. So that was it. They had this ready to attack instincts. And even as they began to evolve, they built houses, hunts, and all of that. They already had that ready to attack instinct. Now, imagine someone who was ready to attack. Lion had their own sound, but initially they were not aware of, when lion is walking towards us, this is how lion makes the noise. So anytime they hear something passing in the bush, what they want to do is to attack. So even if it was their toddler that was walking to them, they just want to attack. Even if it was their sibling that was walking towards them, they just wanted to attack because there was no way they could tell if it was a lion that was coming, a bear, or their sibling that was coming. So they needed to stay alive. So they will always attack. So even when human beings, we grew, we evolved, we now have shelters, we are now able to know that, okay, we don't live with wild animals again. That instinct to attack is always there. That instinct to attack has always been there, is always there. Now, except you now work on yourself deliberately, you will always have the instinct to attack. It is why when your child does something, the first thing you want to do is to attack, except you have worked on yourself. So just as our forefathers labeled activities around them as activities that were dangerous, that needed to be attacked, the same way very many parents have labeled their children's activities attack. For some parents, when their children do something good, they don't even see it. Like I was talking to my teens in church on Sunday, I told them that one way to stop your parents from nagging is to you make a list, wake up in the morning. I told them to on Sunday, I told them, okay, start tomorrow, get a biro, get a paper. For the entire day, make a list. Anytime your parents complain, note it, what they are complaining about. No matter how insignificant it seems, note it. That's on the entire Monday. Then on Tuesday, get to work. All those things they complained about on Monday, make sure you don't repeat any of them on Tuesday. And some of them told me, you don't know my mom. She will still find a reason to complain. She will still find a reason to complain. That is it. For some parents, you have so labeled your child to the extent that even when they now go out of their way to do something good, because of that labeling you have labeled them, you will not see the good. You will not see the good they have done, because you have so labeled them, because you have so programmed yourself to see your child as always not good, not able to do what is right. So even when they now do what is right, that labeling will still be working. I think it's remaining 1 minute. Okay, she can go and do. Is it not the meat pie she's doing?
Yes.
So it's almost, see now, it's remaining 58 seconds. So tell her to go and do the carry on. Or she can wait for the alarm to run out. Just 30 seconds or so. So, excuse me, sorry, please. My kids are baking meat pie and they are using a timer to set the alarm for it. So, I was saying, so they have so labeled, so programmed their mind. They are so seeing their child that they do not see, and no matter what their child does, they will always see it from that negative side. I remember a parent was telling me recently, the child was not well, the child was a bit unwell, and she was telling me that, I better leave him, Jerry, it's laziness that is doing him. It's not my son. I know my son. It's laziness that is doing him. And I was telling her, laziness that is doing him. She said, yes. I said, what if your child is actually not feeling fine? What if your child is actually not feeling fine? Pearl, the alarm is up. Okay. So what if your child is actually not welcome? What if your child is actually not feeling well? Because you have so programmed your mind, you believe that your child is lazy. A child that is not well is lazy. The other day I was in the salon and a child was reported. I was making my hair. One of the apprentices was reported to the mom for gossiping and all of that. When the mom came, she was all over the place talking. And this girl, that's why she always wakes up. She goes to a boy's house. She goes on Wednesday. The girl, apprentice doesn't come to the shop on Wednesdays. That was what she agreed on. And the mom was telling them that on Wednesday, ask her where she goes to. Is in her boy house should they go? Now boy house should they go? Eventually, when the mom left, we asked the girl. The girl said on Wednesdays, she goes for cleaning jobs. She goes to clean people's compounds. She washes for people and they pay her on Wednesdays. That's how she gets money to do her personal things. But the mom that has never sat the girl down to understand what her teenager does has this labeling that if a girl is a teenage girl is not at home, the next place the girl is in a boy's house. And she has treated the girl based on that. Her perception, that's how she's communicated to the girl. You have a boyfriend, why won't you do this? And then she has gone about telling other people about the girl based on her labeling. Perhaps when she was growing up, that was what she did. Each time she was not at home, she ran off with a boy or something. So she programmed herself and believed that was what her daughter was doing too. To the extent that her daughter was reported to her for gossiping, and then she came to the salon to start telling them that is not the only thing the daughter does. On every Wednesday, she goes to visit boys. Programming. Your mindset about your child. I tell you, your child is not out to frustrate you. Your child is not always doing the things you think they are doing. Your child is not always doing the things you think they are doing. Your child is not always misbehaving. Like I've said 1,000,001 times, if you follow me long enough, you know that I've always said this. Your child behavior is a communication. Is always a communication. So here's the thing. From today, begin to pause and ask yourself, what is your child communicating exactly? What is it that your child is communicating right now? You need to know that. Instead of you to just be all conclusive, all jumping into conclusion, always ask yourself, what is your child communicating? I was sharing a story a while ago of a parent whose child was regressing, and to her, oh, this one, they sent him from the pit of hell. He wants to disturb me. He wants to do this one. He's being lazy. And it was when somebody came around, they touched his head. Since then, he doesn't know what he's doing again. He's spiritual. I told them a lot of factors could be responsible for your child regressing. One of them is if you have a younger child, for example, you have a newborn, and maybe you have one child already before, and this particular child is your child, and all the attention was on that child. Now you have another child, and this child that was enjoying your attention before now sees that the new child is enjoying your attention. The new child pees, poo-poos on herself, on himself. You go there to help out. They want to eat. You go there, and this child is feeling, oh, I'm missing out. They need a bit of attention. What do they want to do? They want to now unconsciously go back to that state so that they can get attention from you. Consciously, not even deliberately. Another reason is the child may not be fine. Another reason is, when the child makes progress, maybe when the child started using the potty, you used to praise the child. Oh, well done, well done. You used to praise the child. Now, you are no longer praising the child. And maybe the child is someone who is big on love, words of affirmation. These are areas for you to understand your child. But no, because as a parent, you have labeled your child. The child wants to kill you, is that to frustrate you. The child is evil and all of that. You will leave opportunities to understand your child, to connect your child, and be all dramatic in your reaction. Because emotional intelligence, you do not have. The truth of the matter is you cannot have it. Emotional intelligence comes with knowledge. Even when you say, oh, I don't want to be reactive, I want to always be responsive, I want to be calm and all of that. If you don't have the right knowledge, you still won't know how to respond. If you don't have the right knowledge, you will not know how to draw the boundaries in your response. So as a parent, you need to change your mindset, your perception. You need to look at your thought patterns. You need to reframe your thoughts. When you do this, then you can now respond to your child with emotional intelligence. You need to understand your child is not always out to frustrate you. Your child may not be misbehaving. Your child may not be misbehaving at all. It may actually be your child is trying to express themselves. Your child may be, oh, everybody wants to raise bold, assertive children, right? Now, when you have a child who you are calling stubborn, if you learn to pause and say, okay, my child is actually assertive, my child is bold, my child is strong-willed, you see it from that angle, you will realize it's a plus. Instead of you to be fighting the child for being assertive, for being strong-willed, you want to now say, okay, my child is strong-willed. I've understood this. However, my child needs to learn to draw the line, because being stubborn, being strong-willed, the positive and the negative, there is a very thin line between it. So my child needs to learn to draw the thin lines. And you are going to now skill up yourself to empower your child to be able to draw the thin lines. But for very many parents, once you have labeled the child stubborn, oh, your child is stubborn, the child, they hear word, I will tell you who is the parent. You've labeled the child. You've labeled the child already. You are responding to your child as if it's war. I always say to parents, you are not at war with your child. We have a material I'm going to be sharing for this challenge, becoming an emotionally intelligent challenge. We have this material I'll share with you, the Calm Parent Guide, and a guide to responding with emotional intelligence as a parent, an emotional intelligent response guide for parents. So this guide will help you better understand some of the things, because if I say, let me start mentioning some of the things, we do, some of the way we respond to our children and start explaining what they actually mean, we may not live here today. For example, when your toddler throws tantrum or meltdown, many parents will say, oh, this child is being manipulative, this child is being manipulative. That is it. When parents refuse to eat, oh, very many parents will say this child is stubborn, the child lacks contentment, the child doesn't want to eat what I have. When parents are and children are being resistant to something, parents will misinterpret it. This child is being a deviant, this child is being difficult. When children cry excessively, parents interpret it to me, the child is seeking attention, the child is being manipulative, the child is annoying. When children go out and they don't want to mix with other children, they want to stay with their parents. Many times parents are super angry, they are super angry, they are pushing their children, go and play, can't you see your mates, go and play. When children are daydreaming in school and all of that, and they are not attentive, parents, teachers, they interpret it, they say the child is lazy, the child is not attentive, a lot of labeling that are wrong. When a child is regressing in behavior, parents say the child is rebellious, the child is lazy. When a child is seeking attention, parents say the child is manipulative. When a child is acting out aggressively, maybe the child is angry, parents say, oh, the child is disruptive. Sometimes they don't realize that some children, they actually have psychological issues that make them act some way. When children are super active, they are hyperactive, parents will say, oh, the child, they don't have discipline, the child, they are disruptive. When the child rejects attention, maybe parents is trying to say hug the child or show attention, parents, they label it. When the child is very defensive, parents label it. When the child wants to be on their own, maybe the child doesn't like to share, parents label it. When the child doesn't really have interest in schoolwork, parents just label it. This one is a very big one. A very big one. When a child doesn't have interest in schoolwork, the next thing, parents say, oh, the child. I saw a post yesterday, and I responded to it on one platform. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to my response. They said my response was automatically declined. I don't know. I just gave a long breakdown, step by step, on what the parents of the child can do, and I was told my response was automatically declined. I don't know why. And I didn't have time to go and read the rules and regulations. I was just offering help. That is it. When children struggle in school, parents beat. They beat. Like this parent was talking about the child being 9 years old, being in grade 2, not being able to read. It's even her stepchild that she has beaten. If husband had said she should kukuma take her eyes away from the child, even in the school, that the child is not interested, how will the child be interested? First of all, the child is 9 years old. He's in a class where you have 6 years old, 7 years old. You think they don't know? They know. They're the biggest person in the class. First of all. So the child is already feeling, everybody in this class is smaller than me. I'm in this class, something is wrong with me. They're already feeling bad. Then the teacher makes the child to know that he's an olodo. The child feels badder. Now, being a stepchild, I read the message, and I can imagine, because one of the first things the woman said was, my first child, it's my stepchild. I can imagine many times the woman would have said that to the teacher. So the teacher will know that, okay, this child at home, nobody sent them like that, as in there is a command in the love he's being shown at home. Teacher will play on that and treat the child less than a child who is a favorite child. We know them, we see them in school. If you teach in schools, you will know that there are some children that teachers don't play with because of the way the parents present them. It is why I say to parents, see, the way parents present them, teachers don't play with them. There are some children, parents do anyhow. I remember I was teaching in one school one time, and the teacher was telling a boy, 8 years old or so, you know that if I call your mom now, she went at the next available flight to come and flog the hell out of you. And I said, thumbs up to that mom, because she has passed a message to the teacher already. So the teacher is already threatening the boy. If I finish beating you now, call your mom and she will enter the next available flight to come and deal with you in the school. What if the teacher was abusing the child? The child will not be able to talk now. Yes. So back to the boy. So, and the boy couldn't read and all of that. And so what the woman did not realize is that boy, for the love of Christ, first of all, they have killed his self-confidence. And if you have followed me long enough, you know that I keep saying that self-confidence is one of the most important ingredients your child needs to succeed, whether we want to take it or not. For academics, like what I mean academic, furthering, going to university and all of that, they are primarily for economic empowerment. I said to the parents that the message I couldn't deliver, if you can just help this boy develop himself, find his passion, find his calling, then as he grows older, encourage him, do all you can for him to be able to read, write, communicate. That is all he needs. If school is not his calling, then you would have ended up demoralizing him. The confidence that he will use to build skills, learn trade, stand out and excel, that self-confidence, you would have taken that away from him. At the end of the day, you will say he has always been an olodo. He has never known anything. He will not be struggling with life because he has always been an olodo. He will not be struggling in life because he has never known anything. Rather, he will be struggling in life because he lacks self-confidence. He doesn't even believe in himself. He doesn't believe he can amount to anything because the parents constantly told him, the school constantly told him, and he saw it around himself. I mean, if he was good for something, why would at 9 he will still be in grade 2? If he was good for something, why will he be in grade 2 at 9 and still be the one that will still come in last in class? Why would the teacher be flogging him every day? Why would his parents be flogging and yelling at him every day? Of course he's not good at something. That self-confidence will finish him and he will not amount to anything in life. Except by the grace of God, by some miracle, he will not amount to anything. And the parents will say, oh, because he has always been an olodo. Not because he has always been an olodo. That is it. So if we do not seek knowledge, no matter how emotionally intelligent you are, you may not even know the right thing to do. So I was talking about some of the things we react to, some of the assumptions we have, some of the mindsets. We just assume that, oh, when a child is not doing well in school, the child is lazy, the child is dull, the child is not putting in enough effort. And we respond to our children based on that. Have you ever sat down to wonder why people who struggle in class, like there are people who struggle, very many people I know who struggled in class. They were not the first, they were not the second, they were not the third. In life today, they are doing more than people who were actually the first. I know everyone here watching, you would have seen this kind of people. People who were low in class, people who were not doing well in class. How they turned around and they are the ones who are doing so well in life now. And I say to parents that one of the major reasons for that, one of the things I found out is very many children who are doing well in class is not even because they are putting in effort. It is not because they are naturally gifted academically. So when a child is naturally gifted academically, there is a tendency for that child to be complacent, to stay where they are, not put in any effort, not push themselves. But the child who is struggling academically, who has the right mindset, who is a self-leader, who puts in effort to be better, who may not necessarily be better, who may not come at A, B, who just puts in the right effort, guess what? They are learning every day to push themselves, to put in the right effort. It is why I say to parents, effort matters more than results. And of course, if they put in the right effort, they are going to get better. So a child who can force themselves, who can put in the right effort, they are learning an invaluable skill. The skill of putting in the right effort, the skill of not remaining in their comfort zone. And that skill will take them further in life than a child who is naturally gifted academically, and because they are gifted, they become complacent. I don't know if you get this, my analysis. It is why you will now see them, children who are not so gifted academically, they come out of school, they become entrepreneurs, they become creators, be creative, or however you call it, because they learned to push themselves in school, because they did not have that gift of academic excellence. So they learned to push themselves in school. They were trying to be there. But parents, what we do, because of our programming, our mindset, we judge based on our results. We don't judge our efforts. I said to my children, if I see you put in the right effort, you set your own goals, you work towards your goals, you have your own structure. I don't have to remind you. You have your structure. You know that I need to revise every day. And every day you take your book and you revise. That is all I want. It's not like, oh, you are the best. It's not about being the first in class. Because, of course, we also know that you can be the first in class and a local champion. When you get to a major stage, we know that there are so many standards teachers use to award children. Very many schools are compromised. Very many teachers are compromised and biased. I was in a school one time, and when we finished, a parent was telling me that the person that was given an award was the HM's daughter. And the HM's daughter doesn't deserve an award because the girl, she's not book smart. Even the mom had flogged her in school several times. Yet, just so people would not say, you the HM, the girl was given an award. And the person was explaining to me, I said, that is it. So you know that. So your child may not become at first position, but as long as your child is putting in that effort, that is what you need. That effort by themselves. Effort that comes from leading themselves. Effort that comes from taking responsibility for themselves. That is all you need. That is what they will use to survive. Not survive, thrive tomorrow. So it is one of the reasons why people that come top in class, by the time they face the reward, they struggle because complacency sets in because of their natural gifts of being excellent in academics. So they don't learn, or they don't know how to hustle. Let me use that word. Now that was it. I was trying to explain to the parents. So at the end of the day, this child of yours will be demoralized, will have low self-confidence, and they will struggle in life. So some of these are programming. We just believe, oh, the person that comes first in class is the most intelligent. So because your child is not coming first in class, your child is not intelligent. Even if you see that your child is putting in a lot of positive effort, you think your child is not intelligent. And that's your mates are reading, you are playing, you are going to come out. I remember back then my dad come back home like this, me too not reading, trouble, very hot trouble, very hot and spicy one, our programming. So today's class is all about your programming, your mindset, your thoughts towards your child, towards the things you label as misbehaviors. You actually want to sit and ask yourself, are they misbehavior? Are these things misbehaviors? If these things are not misbehaviors, then you know that there's something wrong with you. You need to work on your emotions. They are not misbehaviors. Even if they are misbehaviors, they are a communication. A communication. You wear a child a cloth. Your child says it doesn't like a particular cloth, and you are going on and on. I remember one time I was in a place, a woman had a dress, a very beautiful dress. She was encouraging me to buy for my daughter. I said, no, my daughter, I won't bother wasting my money because she will not buy. And she was like, how can your daughter be telling you what she wants? You are the one that should buy anything and should wear it. I'm like, why should I buy anything? And then I will not buy a dress that I know that she doesn't like, she will not wear. And then I will not force her to wear it. Now look at it. You buy a dress that you know your daughter doesn't like. On Sunday, because you have spent so much money buying the dress, you will not force her to wear the dress. Then she will not be all grumpy. Because you can force her to wear the dress. You can't force her to be happy. You can't force her to like it. She will not be all grumpy and go to church like that. And when they are teaching in church, she'll be angry. She'll be cranky. You are not in the same church class with her. You're in your class, she's in her class. She'll be angry. She'll be all cranky in class. At the end of the class, you come back, you ask her, what did you learn? She says she doesn't remember. You are angry. You are smacking. Does it even make sense? I mean, why do I have to pay so much money to buy something for her? I'm not the one wearing it. She's the one wearing it. And I realized that she is sensitive to some kind of material, some kind of fabrics. She doesn't like some kind of fabrics. She doesn't like the way some clothes are designed. That's because she's someone, she doesn't like certain things. If the cloth is free and relaxed, if it's Ankara, she'll like it. If it's just like a t-shirt, she'll like it. But if all those kind of dresses that they will not make somehow, when it touches her, she will say no. It's inconveniencing her. She doesn't like anything that inconveniences her. So for some people, your child is the one. Your child is the one in charge. Your child is stubborn. Your child doesn't. You will now respond to your child, react to your child based on your programming. Sometimes your pride, you want your child to look a certain way. Excuse you. Excuse you. You should look in a certain way. Why? How will looking that certain way add to your vision as a parent? Your child, the values your child should uphold as a human being, the adult your child should become. How will your child wearing a dress and becoming an expensive dress, how will he add to that? Or a particular dress that you like, your child doesn't necessarily like, how will he add to that? These are bitter pills some parents will never swallow. Again, as a parent, what you want to do is to pause all the time and reframe your thoughts. You want to stop looking at your child's behavior through a negative lens. Stop looking at your child's behavior through negative lenses. When you stop that, you are able to respond to your child better, reasonably, and not all the time drama and fight. I hope you have learned something. If you have learned something, please drop it in the comment section. If you have any question in the comment section, and I'll quickly take your questions. Do you have any questions? I'm done right now. You have any questions? The thought of while waiting for your question, I will just recap. Today is about reframing your thoughts generally, changing your perception about your child. The way you perceive your child will determine how you respond to your child. I was watching a video a couple of days ago, and the lady came into the shop to buy something. Because she was just dressed blandly, the attendant didn't want to attend to her. So another lady came who was sophisticatedly dressed, and she was all over the ladies, bringing bag and all of that. At the end of the day, the lady was pricing something they were selling for over 1 million naira. The lady was pricing it for 20,000 naira. And she was like, are you kidding me? So when that one left, another one that was just dressed shabbily came, and she didn't want to attend to that one, because in her mind, the person that dressed gorgeously should be the one with the money, while the one that just dressed shabbily should be the pauper. But as they say, it shocked her, because the one that dressed shabbily was even the one that bought a good number of the items without even bargaining. She just said, oh, is this the amount? Okay, I'll write a check for you. I'll do a transfer for you. So programming. You have been programmed to see your child's behavior in certain ways. The way you were raised has programmed you to see your child's behavior in certain ways. Your temperament also has programmed you to see your child's behavior in certain ways. And your own personal pride and all of that has programmed you. Your over expectations have programmed you to see your child's behavior in certain ways. And you are going to respond to your child based on that. Okay, if you don't have any questions, I'll draw the curtains for today and see you next week. Thank you for joining. My name is Enimien Oruebor, and this is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy, an academy where parents get empowered, get skilled up to parent towards their vision. It is our month of becoming emotionally intelligent. We have recorded 2 videos so far. This is the 3rd one. Take your time, go through all the videos, go through our videos here. I tell you, even if you're not in the academy, we have a rich resource in this channel. So take your time, go through our videos, and also feel free to send a message so you can get our materials. We have some free materials we'll gladly give you. We also have some paid materials we'll gladly give you. So take your time and go through the channel and come back to us for your questions and for how you can be part of the academy and other things we are doing and will be doing soon. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you too much, Chama Eze. Thank you so much, man. See you next week. Bye bye.